Good morning and welcome. This is Dal Paul, and we're about to start.
Is it? It is on now? Oh, yes. Okay. Good morning and welcome to worship here at Seaview, which stands for Coastal Virginia Unitarian Universalists. My name is Valerie Rottink and I serve as a director on your board. For those of you who are newcomers today, whether it is here in person or in Zoom, Seaview is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association, a denomination that is part of a liberal religious tradition that goes back hundreds of years. Seaview offers an open door to all who recognize and honor our principles and the values from which they are derived: interdependence, equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, justice, and love, which is at the center of our values. These are values which call us to action and which make us accountable to one another. Here at Seaview, our commitment to the work we are called to do through these values is demonstrated in our mission, which is to provide a nurturing community, foster courageous spiritual growth, and inspire compassionate action. It is with that love and commitment that we welcome all of you, member, friend, visitor, to worship at Seaview and be a part of this journey with us. We also welcome those of all ages. If there are teens and youth who would like to sit together in the sanctuary during service, there is a reserved section in the back of the sanctuary to my right. For those of us who are younger, we have our growing ground at the front of the sanctuary to my left, where small children and their parents can entertain themselves quietly. For those of us who are a bit more wiggly and for whom quiet is truly difficult, you and your parent may also enjoy the service in the foyer where it will be streamed and where there will be coloring books, coloring pages, paper, markers, and other colored pencils. Our worship theme this month is Embracing Possibility, and the title of today's service is Impossible is a Dare, and it will be led by Kerry Kilburn and Candace Sparrow Powers, our worship services associate. Also assisting with the worship today are Crystal Lennon, our music director, who arranged for today's music, and Kat Nash, who will lead the middle message. And of course, we couldn't do this without our ushers today, Bruce Powers and Alan Cruces, and our amazing tech team, Bruce Weiner, Pat Push, Audrey Noth, and Dal Paul. Next week, the service is a WSA collaboration, and it will be led by Dal Paul, Sally Daniel, Zachary Ashton, and Candace Sparrow Powers. Once again, thank you for being with us this morning, and we hope you will join us in the social hall for coffee hour after the service.
opening words today are Once More by Amy Bowden Friedman. Once more, the earth has turned toward the light of the sun. As we are bathed in the light of a new day, so may we greet the dawning of fresh possibility. Once more, we awaken from our slumber as our bodies rise to meet the challenges and pleasures of living. So may our hearts and minds open with promise. Once more, we gather for worship as we join our voices in word and song. So may this assembly bring forth wholeness. Come, let us worship. And now let us worship together. Unitarian Universalists worldwide begin their services by lighting a chalice. And today, our chalice is lit by Margaret. Margaret is 8 and in the 2nd grade. Margaret enjoys drawing, pottery, gaming, painting, science, making bracelets, and aliens. And as the chalice is lit, let us join in saying these words.
How to use one of these things? Because I don't.
Oh, you got it. Whoop, whoop. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share.
Nope. One more time. Third time is a charm. Oh, this one doesn't run white.
You got it.
Nope.
Right, Tony.
And now, please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, 1028, The Fire of Commitment.
Ministry is how we maintain a culture of the heart here at this church. And it consists of our pastoral associates, and if there's any in the audience thank you so much, who are here if you need to talk with someone, and the members of our caring team who can provide short-term assistance to those in need. The screen behind me, yes, provides information on how to contact people in either of those groups. Our Book of Life, which is kept at the back of the sanctuary to my right, is meant for you to record personal milestones you would like to share with the congregation. And if you would like to physically mark what you're holding in your heart today, you may do so by placing a stone or a shell in the bowl, which is near the Book of Life downstairs, or at the back of the sanctuary on my left upstairs. For those of you in Zoom, if you have a personal joy or sorrow you would like to share with our Seaview community, please type it into the chat, and if I can see the chat on my phone, it will be read into the service today, and it will also be entered into the Book of Life. And now we'll hear from a member of our caring team. Maybe. Okay. Would somebody care to bring me the Book of Life? All right, it looks like we have no entries in the Book of Life today. That makes it easy. As part of our Stones and Shell ritual, let us remember to honor our military by appreciating the sacrifice they are willing to make for us and are making for us. But may we also honor them by doing what we can so that they may never have to make it. And so I am lighting this candle this morning as a prayer for peace here at home and throughout the world. May each of us draw upon whatever gives us strength and hope, whether it is the God of many names or no name at all, the great force that courses throughout and is the universe, the divine spark within each of us, or this community that we love and value, as we hold in our hearts all that has been spoken into this space this morning, in person and online, and all that has not. But may we in particular find solace in the fact that we are here to journey with one another, to share in the sorrows and rejoice in the joys. And now let us enter into a moment of silence to mark the sacred space that we share. We will now close our silence and honor the different faith journeys we represent here in song.
Spring has kind of sprung. The weather has a story to tell, and lately I've been listening, mostly by keeping my plants tucked safely inside a while longer. I suspect tonight might finally be above 50 degrees, but don't quote me on that. In recent years, building our garden and planting wildflowers has been my favorite seasonal ritual. I'm making new friends with the bumblebees and caterpillars and even the jumping spiders. Of course, there is always the sweat equity of the season, moving dirt, wrestling vines, and of course, staying hydrated. And at times I find myself on autopilot, that strange state where my brain checks out, but my body keeps moving. I'm always amazed by how much I can accomplish when I stop overthinking. And yet I'm always pulled back into the present when one of my friends appears. Last week, I was awestruck to find a Luna moth resting on a stone in the flower bed. I wondered if it had been caught in the brief, battering storm that blew through a few days prior. And even though the moth had finally found a moment's peace, its wings were tattered and broken in places that were vital for flight. My heart ached for this divine being and all it had faced before arriving at my feet. I knelt, coerced the creature onto my finger and retreated indoors to provide a sanctuary. I showed the moth to my son, and if not for his sweetheart and love of insects teaching me the way, I might not have ever noticed it at all. He was cautious, gently stroking the moth's back, which was furry, and as he touched it, the moth shuddered, its frail wings shivering in response. Sensing its time was short, I decided to release it into a spot less windy and more peaceful. And as I watched it go, I realized how much I've changed. There was a time I would have been afraid to hold an insect so closely. But in the past year alone, I've relocated countless garden friends for their own safety from the cat. I thought of my Reiki practice and the principles I choose to live by. And those state, just for today, I will not be angry, I will not worry, I will be grateful, I will work with integrity, and I will be kind to all living things. All living things. And the realization clicked that this was the message I should share today. As a spiritualist, I believe that our souls and unseen forces work in collaboration with our physical bodies. So to me, honoring interdependence means being one with nature, a living thing. And choosing to care for the Luna moth was caring for myself as well. A visit from this prehistoric insect is a rare gift. After emerging from its cocoon, a Luna moth only has 7 to 10 days to mate and lay eggs. For 60 million years, this species has emerged with only 1 week to make its impact. Though I'm a spiritualist, I'm also scientific. And when I do the math, 1 week isn't much time. There's no time for moth-sized tea parties. And in fact, they don't even have mouths after their transformation, so it seems like they exist purely to transition to the next generation. Seeing a moth, for me, is the ultimate lesson in embracing possibilities. Inside the chrysalis, it doesn't just grow wings, it completely dissolves into a liquid state before reforming into something entirely new. It has to let go of being a crawler to embrace the possibility of flight. There's no time for safety nets or hesitation. Even with tattered wings and no tasty snacks, the Luna moth doesn't see its limitations as an ending. Perhaps it senses a challenge. It dares to fly and to transform the world for the next generation in the briefest of windows. For us, the liquidation of our own lives, the dissolving of expectations or the deconstructing of core beliefs can feel like an ending. But what if we stopped worrying about the tattered edges of our wings and started embracing the possibility of what we are becoming? If this moth can face a world of storms, then perhaps our most challenging tasks are just invitations. We aren't just surviving a storm. We have the opportunity to embrace the transformation within it. Thank you.
All right, those young nugget heart, come forth and gather. All right.
Okay, there we go. Don't have to use my theater voice. Everyone, all right. So we are talking about possibility. Does anyone know what possibility means? Go with this.
A possible chance of something. So it could happen, it could not. It really just depends.
Basically in between yes or no.
It's like a 50-50 chance.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
Possibility, I have trouble saying it. Possibility is the chance of something to happen or something not to happen. Like, let's say this moth is a baby. We don't know if it's a baby. It could be a baby, which is possible, or it could not be a baby, which is also possible.
All right. Oh, we got a young at heart back here.
Hi, I'm Vicky's sister. I like chance of a lifetime.
Nice. All right, yep. One more? One more.
Opportunity.
Wonderful. Yes. And all of you are spot on. When I think of possibility, I also think of hope. Possibility, the hope that things will turn out right. Like with the recent space mission, when they went around the moon, that might have been one impossible, but through hope, imagination, and hard work, they are able to make that impossible possible. And sorry, I'm kind of winging this. And with that, also possibility and hope, controlling what you can, even when things are out of control. And with working together, we can really make the possible things a reality. Because let's remember, the sun still shines even when it's raining. One more?
Well, last night we had mysterious screeches and lots of emergency vehicles in our neighborhood. It's possible that something very dangerous could have went on because like a little bit past that point I saw police cars. And like I hope nothing bad happened, but if somebody did it on purpose, just no.
Sometimes I would used to see like fire trucks and police cars and ambulances going to the same direction every time, and I think someone said that there was a guy that had like medical issues, but I don't know if he did. There could be a possibility he had medical issues.
All right. And with that, that's it. Thank you. You may return, youth.
Thank you. Thanks, kids. Generosity is one of our Unitarian Universalist values. And now comes the time when we ask you to live out that value. But first, we're going to hear from Jan Marvel.
Good morning. I grew up in an American Baptist church up north. No hellfire and brimstone, but I was a secret agnostic. My dad was the church treasurer. While we put the collection money into rolls, he'd tell me how important it was to pledge, because pledging keeps our church family lovingly and financially strong. Moving to 1966, I took a job at Tidewater Community College's Women's Center in Chesapeake. Along came a new coworker, the incomparable and unparalleled Sally Daniel. I told her my church story, and she urged, by pulling my ear, to attend UCN. When I came in 2013, I felt so welcome and comfortable and later loved. The late and our beloved Reverend Jennifer Slade preached at UCN that she gave a 10% pledge with love. She urged us to increase our pledge by giving up something, maybe Starbucks, maybe something else kind of special. She said, our pledge of financial support is part of a member's responsibility. We have a new shared logo that you can see by the membership credenza. Here's a smaller version. Its center is the word love, set in a lighted chalice. Around the word love is 6 words expressing our inseparable and deeply interdependent shared values. The words are transformation, pluralism, justice, equity, interdependence, and last but not least, generosity. It has become more important to follow my father's model to pledge. Our pledges keep the love and our values moving forward. Thank you.
The ministry of this church not only consists of what we do within these walls, both real and virtual, but what we do that extends beyond these walls as well. And so each month we share 50% of the money collected during Sunday offering that is not designated as a pledge payment with an organization in the community. The organization we are sharing with this month is the Interfaith Immigration Legal Assistance. The IILA provides assistance to individuals with their immigration cases, including expenses for attorney and case filing fees. Grants are available in amounts up to $500. Jimmy Culpepper is our guest today. Jimmy, would you please stand? Yay! Thank you. Please stop by his table during the coffee hour to learn more about the importance of support for immigrants without U.S. legal status. Supporting programs such as this is just one way for us to live our principles that honor the inherent worth and dignity of all people, and justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Giving our time, talent, and treasure to the organizations that matter to us is a spiritual practice for those of us who call ourselves Unitarian Universalists, and it is one we should not shy away from. More importantly, it is essential to our survival. I give because I love to see our community grow. Baskets will be coming around if you wish to make a gift in cash or check. There are additional directions for giving on the screen behind me. And as you set your intention for giving, we will listen to another musical selection. Your donations will be gratefully received.
People keep on learning while your soldiers keep on warring. World keep on dying, and the world keeps on turning, and it won't be too long. Oh, I'm so glad you let me try it again. My last time on earth, I lived the whole world of sin. I'm so glad I know more than I do then. I'm gonna keep on trying till I reach a high ground.
Preacher, keep on preaching. Believers, keep on believing. World, keep on turning. It won't be too long, and it won't be too long, and it won't. I'm so glad. The last time on earth, I lived the whole world with sin. I'm so glad I know more than I knew then. Keep on trying till I reach the higher ground. 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 Till I reach the higher ground.
Thank you all for your generosity.
Good morning. I am an unashamed geek. And with your indulgence, I'm going to dive into my geekhood for a few minutes. Today we celebrate International Day of Human Spaceflight, marking the 65th anniversary of cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin's historic first manned flight into outer space. Aboard the Vostok 1, Gagarin made one complete orbit around the Earth in a flight lasting 108 minutes. Upon re-entry, rather than staying with his capsule and splashing down into the ocean, Gagarin ejected from his spacecraft at 20,000 feet, parachuted safely to the ground, and landed in a potato field, where he badly startled a young girl and her grandmother who were planting their spring crop. The space race, of course, did not begin with Gagarin's flight, but rather with the Soviet Union's launch of the first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1, on October 4th, 1957. Because the Cold War was in full swing, this led President Eisenhower to call for the establishment of a civilian U.S. space agency and to sign the National Aeronautic and Space Act in July of 1958. It also led to the first push to reform and promote STEM education in the U.S. Many of us, in fact, probably remember at least one outcome of that push, the instrument of torture known to student and parent alike as new math. Another critical outcome was the call by President Kennedy in 1961 to land an astronaut on the moon and bring him safely back to Earth within the decade. This accomplishment, of course, was achieved when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon and stepped onto the moon on July 20th of 1969 and brought the craft safely back to Earth on 4 days later, and I'm losing my place. That's okay. One of the things that amazes me about the early space programs, Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo, is how engineering and technology had to evolve to make them successful. Take just computing, for example. It wasn't until the Gemini 4 mission in 1965 that manned spacecraft even had onboard computers, an invention that required advances in miniaturization, reliability, and software engineering. If you've been to the National Air and Space Museum, by the way, and seen the command capsules from these missions, you understand the need for miniaturization. If you haven't, I strongly encourage you to do so. The Gemini guidance computer was later replaced by the Apollo guidance computer, first deployed on the Apollo 7 mission in 1968. It was one of the first computers to make extensive use of integrated circuits. It measured only about 2 cubic feet and weighed in at a mere 70 pounds. Just for comparison, it had less computing power than the first HP pocket calculators that were introduced in the mid-1970s. And I don't know how many of you know this, but the computers, both on board the spacecraft and at ground control in Houston, handled only a portion of the computation required to complete space missions. So until those scientific pocket calculators were developed, astronauts used slide rules for complex calculations. You may have seen this depicted in the movie Apollo 13. Okay, so enough geek talk. Why am I, hopefully not, boring you with all of this history and technology? It's because I marvel at the mindset that made the space program possible. There's an old Adidas ad campaign written by Amy Leto honoring Muhammad Ali that includes these words: "Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare." The approximately 400,000 people NASA estimates were involved just in the Apollo projects alone must have felt exactly this way, that just because no one had done it, just because the technology didn't exist, just because a world of engineering problems had to be solved, was no reason to suppose it could not be done. They embraced possibility. According to my online new Oxford American Dictionary, the word possibility means a thing that may happen or be the case. And one of the meanings of embrace, and the one I think applies here, is accept and support willingly and enthusiastically. So what the people involved in the space programs did, and continue to do, as we saw with Artemis II, is to willingly and enthusiastically put aside doubt and chase the thing that could happen. So I'd like to switch gears now and talk about what it means to embrace possibility on an individual level. But before I do, I think we need to acknowledge that, in fact, not everything is possible. And that, to a large extent, the possibilities in our lives are very much a function of our individual situations. If we're spending our days just trying to stay alive in the midst of flood, drought, or military conflict, situations facing far too many people in the world today, we're probably not aspiring to much more than basic survival, or perhaps escape. But even in less drastic situations, the resources available to us, financial, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, will also shape the options before us. This doesn't mean that possibility doesn't exist, just that it may be more limited for some of us than for others. But suppose we do have at least some of the resources needed to take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves to us. Why should we take the leap? Why should we take that class or try that new sport or experiment with that new artistic medium? Why should we risk a failure to achieve the dream we're pursuing? Why should we leave our comfort zones to embark on the new journey toward what may be an unattainable end? Well, I could say that it's part of human nature to strive, to find new ways to grow and develop. But I'm probably not alone in knowing a lot of people who are content with the lives they have just as they are, and there's nothing really wrong with that. So I don't think that's the answer, or at least not all of it. I'm honestly not sure what the whole answer is. But I think it has something to do with curiosity. Curiosity leads us humans to ask questions and to answer them in forms of everything from stories to art to technology and more. If we're curious, we don't just ask who, what, where, when, and why. We also ask what if? Now, the answer to that question may not, at least in our minds, be very encouraging. I'm sure I'm not alone in having that little voice inside me that is more focused on why bother than on what if. Fear of discomfort, fear of not being young enough, or old enough, or strong enough, or smart enough, or whatever not enough you carry inside might persuade you that the answer to your what if is certain failure. Those doubts are natural, of course, but they can also be overcome, especially if you have a supportive teacher, friend, family, or community behind you. But still, what do we gain when we take that step out of our comfort zone, where we feel safe and secure, and into the realm of possibility, where we're likely to feel vulnerable and fearful, and where what turns out to be possible isn't necessarily the thing we were chasing in the first place? One answer is because this is, in fact, one of the ways in which we can grow and develop as individuals. Stepping outside our comfort zone and confronting the challenges of our particular what if, we can become stronger physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even if we don't end up in the place we set out to find. And becoming stronger doesn't just benefit ourselves, but those around us as well. And let's face it, the world needs all the strong it can get right now. Well, what about us as UUs? What's our what if? Easy answer, challenging to achieve. As UUs, we're called upon to embrace the possibility of creating beloved community at levels from individual congregations to local communities and beyond. Now, we know what beloved community should look like. Our values and principles tell us that it should be diverse, multicultural, and accessible, that it should promote the inherent worth and dignity of all people, and allow all to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion, and so much more. I know that it's difficult to set aside doubts about creating this community when the world is so chaotic, when our own country is embroiled in a conflict in the Middle East, and when the values we aspire to seem to be under attack both at home and abroad. But we're not called upon to live our values and principles only when it's easy. We need to find a way to see and embrace possibility, even in times like these when it seems impossible. We need to follow the advice of Margaret Wheatley from her poem, Turning to One Another, and ask what's possible, not what's wrong, and keep asking. Another author, Adrienne Marie Brown, tells us that it's healing behavior to look at something so broken and see the possibility and wholeness in it. So our job as UUs is to go one step further. After the asking and after the looking, we must act. So what might that action look like? It looks like what we already do. We care for our neighbors. We help feed those facing food insecurity. We offer acceptance and inclusion. We give of our time, talent, and treasure wherever and whenever we can. We protest. We vote in ways that promote democratic principles and justice and equity for all. We believe in and work toward transformation. Paraphrasing author Rebecca Solnit, we don't ask what will happen. We are what happens. And what's the result? If we continue to act in ways that promote the development of beloved community, we create space for others to find possibilities that might not have been available to them before. With our actions, we can create the conditions that allow not just some, but all people to explore and embrace their own possibilities. So let's agree that creating beloved community isn't impossible. It's a dare, and a possibility we embrace wholeheartedly. Thank you. And now please rise in body and spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, 1015, I Know I Can.
end our service today with the words of Michael A. Schuler, an ending or merely a prelude to a more glorious beginning. Please join me in responsively read the words in bold and italics. It's not a responsive reading? I'm reading the wrong part. We have reached the end of this time for the gathering of memory and for letting the imagination play with future possibilities. We have enjoyed magic moments and edified each other. Shall it be concluded then? Or will this adventure, now commenced, continue? Our separate paths converging, meeting, merging, in the unending quest for love more perfect. The joyous struggle for meaning more sufficient and life more abundant. Is the ending to be an ending or merely prelude to new, more glorious beginnings? I pose the question. In your heart lies the answer. Let us speak these words together, which are an adaptation taken from the poem Beyond Our Wildest Dreams by Roseanne S. But before we do, please take a moment to look at the person on either side of you, the person in front of you, and the person behind you. And imagine you are speaking these words to them. I put my faith in you, and together we can do what we could never do alone. And as our worship comes to an end, please join me in saying the words for extinguishing the chalice, which will be shown on the screen. Ready, Margaret? Thank you. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you.